Hello again, friends, and welcome to yet another session with our good friend, Tome Schnitsius. It's been a while since he and I have spent time together and done a video like this because he's had major surgery on his knee, and that slowed him down a bit from his normal running routine, as well as other things.
I'll have to agree with you because if Dr. Hackett listens to this and I say that I haven't slowed down, that could put me in a little bit of trouble here.
Yes,
So we'll
that's
say we
true.
will agree with you at that point. Say yes, he is slowed down completely.
Yes, okay. Yeah, this time he's only going to, instead of being healing 3 times faster than normal, it's only
Yeah,
going to be two.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, welcome back. We have covered a very broad range of topics in your previous sessions, and I know that much of the information that's come through has actually come through spontaneously from your guides and your group and the higher masters. Uh, and I don't know if they've given you a prompt for today or whether we want to get into some contemporary issues that are facing people these days and seeing what they have to say about that and the advice that they can give us. So
Okay,
yeah, let it flow, and we'll
okay,
go from there. And yeah, I may have questions, but we'll do our normal thing.
yeah. One of the other things I wanted to share too is that I've developed a cough after the surgery. I don't know if the hospital blessed me with this cough or if I received it somewhere else, but I guess you get your money's worth no matter what happens there. Um, so I might cough every once in a while, or I might have to take a throat lozenge just because of the soreness in my throat. So I throw that out there too as we're doing this.
Okay.
Um, so that's a big interview beginning, and there's a lot to it. Um, One of the things that I think today would be um, a good sharing and a good topic, if you want to call it a topic, to talk about is energy. But and we've talked about energy before, but this is a little bit different. It's more about energy transference. Um, and at this time, with the shift that we are in already, it's not like it's coming or something like that. We're already in it. We've been in it for quite a while. Um, and it's very difficult to kind of find our way through it as we're walking our walk because of all the distractions that are going on. Um, but one of the major ways of doing this, one of the better ways of doing this, I would say, is to allow your heart to be your director. Now, we've talked about this before. We've talked about opening up your heart and that your heart is got the intuitive ability to show you the way. But it also has some unique divine gifts that you hold in the ability to be able to feel, sense, um, be with energies or vibrations or frequencies. And as you continue your journey and you do the work, you authentically do the work, which means you're continuing to shift yourself within, letting go of things that haven't served you up to this point. The abilities to be able to feel the energies that you're letting go of is important because those energies, those vibrations and frequencies that you're letting go of, per your ego or per your programming, have a unique resonance to them. And to be able to let them go, but feel them and be with them as you do, allows you then later, as you're walking your journey, to make sure as those energies are being projected at you or they're surrounding you, you can recognize them quickly enough to just let them go through you and not attach yourself in any way to those vibrations and frequencies and so on. So some of the work isn't just opening yourself up to receive new energies. First, to make room for that, we must open ourselves up and be with what we've created up to this point. And that can be difficult for most of us because we then have to look at the mirror and say, we've created the situations that we have around us. Those situations that we've created around us hold a resonance of energy and vibration and frequency. Those energies, frequencies, and vibrations that we do hold around us wish to stay with us. They want to stay attached. They want us to use them. They want us to stay stuck in them because that is what holds us back from growing, and it holds us back from opening up our hearts. So as we go on in life, as we go on in our journey, it's very important to not just say, okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to deal with it anymore and that sort of thing. That's all fine and well, but eventually you're going to have to face it again because you haven't been with that energy that you've created. You're just saying, I'm going to let go of it. There's a difference. If you don't let go of it by feeling it, sensing it, being with it, and so on, which means you might have to be enraged. You might have to cry. You might have to be depressed. You might have to feel less than. There's a number of egotistical, if you will, energies and vibrations that you have attached to your life definition that must be felt again because you created it and then let go of. So by feeling them and being with them emotionally, which clears the space to let new choices and new energies and vibrations and frequencies to come in. So that's kind of the process. And I know many of you out there have been working on that anyway. But for somebody new that might be tapping into these podcasts, I just thought I'd bring that up again. So that's not the energy transference that I'm suggesting here. That's actually releasing energy. You're not transferring, if you will, energy anywhere. You're releasing the energies you've been holding on to that haven't served you. Once that process has taken place, now we're open to new choices, new awarenesses, new feelings and experiences, and so on. And as we do start consciously now watching what it is that we're starting to create and open ourselves to, we can start feeling the densities of these energies and vibrations and frequencies that are coming in. And if they feel as dense or close to as dense as what we let go of course, we know that's not what we want to accept. We want to just be with that, let it go through you, and then let it leave. And then make another choice and see if that choice you're making has a different density to it as you're choosing it and you're experiencing it as walking through it. As we continue to do that and open ourselves more and more to new choices, now the shift happens within us. We are opening up our heart more, which means we're opening up the divinity gifts, the divine gifts that we hold, the understandings that we haven't explored yet, all the wonderful gifts that have been there laying dormant for such a long time because they've been covered up by this density that we created before that. And all of a sudden, we're starting to feel and shift who we are internally, which then helps our whole three-body system, your mental body, your physical body, and your emotional body, to resonate at a very higher frequency than you were before. So your mental capacity becomes more clear. Your physical body, your cells, your nervous system, the blood, all parts of your body, your organs are starting to sing a new tune. They're starting to vibrate at a higher place, which means the cellular structure can it's kind of like a rebirth. It's like the cellular system grows at a faster rate. It is a younger feeling to it. So it's like more of a childlike feeling to it, and this is for people that are even in their 90s. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you allow yourself to have this happen, your whole body will resurrect itself into a different place and it'll shift into a different vibration. So that's the physical part. And then the emotional part is you will feel emotions and sense emotions kind of instantaneously in the moment. Your heart will say, oh, this is very sad, or this is very joyful, or whatever it might be. The difference between the emotions of the heart in these moments and the emotions of the ego is the emotions of the ego want attach themselves to you. So if you're feeling sad, it wants you to feel sad for months on end. It wants you to attach to it. So it drives you down into the black hole of whatever, right? If you feel sad in the heart, it's of the moment. So it's not to say you're never going to feel sad again. It's just going to say you're going to recognize the sadness that's present and you'll be with it and you'll honor it and let it go almost instantaneously, which means then it opens up for an opportunity to transference, transfer the heartfelt energy that you're feeling in your heart, the divine energy, into the situation, not forcing it, not an agenda. You're just feeling this is what I'm bringing to the situation, and the situation itself can choose for itself whether it wants to take it or not. That's how we start making the shift. That's a simplified version of how this works, but in between all that is a lot of work. And the lot of work is to continue to clear yourself because it takes a lot of time to clear all these defined emotions and energies and vibration frequencies that you have created, which is an ownership on your part. Up to this point, it takes time. It's not like we can clear it all out in one weekend. We can go to the clearing out workshop and sit down for 3 days and do all these meditations and all that stuff. And that's all fine and well. But unfortunately, it doesn't work because it's usually mind driven and not heart driven. The heart will present to you the moments to be with the things that you've defined yourself by, if you allow it to. And as that happens, then you can really be with whatever that is instead of just kind of checking it off on a priority list and say, okay, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. It's truly to be with what's going on and own the harm that you might have created for yourself or the harm that was projected out that was unconscious, but it was still projected out all the same. So this takes time to continue to go through these situations. And I would say in my own journey, I'm still doing it. It doesn't end. It continues on. And as I get triggered by something outside of me, it shows me what is still waiting to be explored. It's showing that if I'm being triggered and that trigger is still within me, that means I haven't let go of that energy yet. And so I must be with it if I'm going to let go of it. And so it's unique to each individual because how you've created it for yourself is unique unto yourself. How you get triggered by it is unique. It doesn't mean you can set it up and go in certain situations and say, well, if I go in that situation, it'll bring it up. Well, maybe, maybe not. You know, if the ego knows you're doing it, it probably won't bring it up because it's going to protect itself so it doesn't come up. So it's to be with things. And one of the best phrases I can give you out there in working in this kind of journey that we're in is to let things come to you. To not try and make things happen. Believe me, if the universe knows totally right now in your heart what it is that you wish, it already knows. You don't even have to pray. You don't need to even have to sit down and do a meditation. Tell them, please help me, please help me. They already know that you're authentic and wishing to have this journey work for you. You wish to authentically help and serve others, but you must help and serve yourself first. They already know that. And so as you're walking your walk and you're going through stuff, if you can allow it to come to you, they will give you this beautiful, it's almost like a dance where things show up and you're like, wow, I thought I had that over done and finished. And obviously I don't. And they provided this synchronicity for this person to come into my life at a time I never saw it coming. And now I have that emotion that I had when I was a child or when I had as a teenager or whatever. I'm still holding on to it. It's not that the person's a bad person that came into your life in that moment. They use that person so that you can look at yourself and clear this out and be more pure. And so that's just how things work if we let them come to us. If we try and make it happen, it's a much more difficult journey for sure. And it's very hard to transference. It's very hard to transfer energy when you can't open your heart enough to feel the energy that's coming in. And that should make kind of logical sense to you that if I'm going to transfer energy or project energy into a situation, I must know what I'm transferring. I must know what I'm projecting. And if I haven't done the work to become one with the vibrations, to become one with the frequencies and so on that I have available to me, you can't just do it. You must be one with it. Once we understand that concept, Yeshua said it really strongly on his walk when he was here, was that all things are all together, kind of. He didn't say it that way, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. Everything is one. Everything is unified, which means everything's in everything else, and everything else is in everything else, and all things are one. So there's infinite possibility, there's infinite choices, there's divine energy everywhere, infinite everywhere. So as I can understand that for myself, it brings me a little bit deeper into the understanding that I already hold within me all the energies and vibrations and frequencies I could ever even imagine, because they're all here. The universe is within you. And it's really hard to comprehend in our minds. It's really hard to to touch into that because we're so linear in the way we speak, in the way we look at life and so on. And this is more quantum. This is more, everything is together at one time. And so we hold all that. Unfortunately for us, when we come down, and we've talked about a lot of this in other podcasts, we've developed an amnesia of our truth, that we're not really sinners. We're divine essence, but we've covered it up because as soon as we come out of the womb, we are then flooded with feelings, sensations, understandings, and so on as we get older. And we're programmed into believing that we're in this density world, this dualistic world, and that's all that exists. And for me to be able to survive in this dualistic world, I have to start defining myself so I can understand what kind of safe place can I create for myself, which then equals separation. Then we're developing a separate understanding of what the all is instead. And we think I'm separate from that person, I'm separate from that person, my ideas are different than somebody else's, and so on and so forth, where all along everything is all jumbled into one, and it actually is held inside my heart. So if I do the work and I start clearing all those things that have been on top of that, so you almost look at your heart, you can see this cocoon around the heart, and that cocoon around the heart is kind of a barrier that the ego has created and not allowing you to get into the heart. It's saying, well, I'm protecting you. I'm helping you survive. There's some truth to that because you're still here. If you're listening to this, you haven't died yet. So you've made it and you're still this far. So yeah, it's been your buddy and it's really helped you and it's helped you survive, but it's only helped you to feel and experience life in one way. One way. Whatever way you chose and how you defined it, one way. And there's infinite ways to experience any given situation, which means if I've done that, I'm not really living. I'm living according to one model or one definition of who I think I am. And so I must erase that somehow and start kind of tearing apart that cocoon so I can get into the heart space and start recognizing and embracing my truth, which is really this opportunity to feel and sense vibrations and frequencies and so on, waves, all these kind of things science talks about. And the true essence, say, of intimacy, or the true essence of joy, and the true essence of sadness and depression, the true essence of serving somebody else, the true essence of feeling in gratitude and compassion and so on. Those are not definitions when you're in your heart. They're true experiences which change constantly. Every moment you have a true feeling of that energetic feeling of gratitude, it's going to be different than the last time. Every single time, doesn't matter. And even if you're feeling gratitude for the same thing, it's going to feel different. I guarantee you. When it's coming from the heart, coming from the ego, gratitude says fill in the blank. This is what gratitude means, and so this is how you feel gratitude. Well, the mind can't feel; only the heart can feel. So haven't been feeling. You've been following a definition of what you've been taught to believe, to be grateful about. And so there's a huge difference. Energy transference is a gift that we all have. We can heal ourselves. We can assist others to heal themselves if they wish to own that they have that ability within them. That's what Yeshua would say to somebody when he was healing them. Do you truly believe, and I don't even like the word believe, but do you truly believe that you can be healed? And he could feel the words from them. He could feel the vibrations, whether they were just trying to appease him or whether they were truly owning that sense of energetic healing that they know was possible. And then he could heal them. In other cases, he would say, I can't heal you. It's not the right time yet. And that's all basically he would say. He wouldn't put him down. He just says it wouldn't be, it's not, it's not the right time yet. So this is another kind of little understanding of I must own my own journey. I must own the feelings of the energies that come in. I must own and trust that I have energies coming to me and vibrations from all around because I'm part of the universe. And why wouldn't they want to assist me? I must feel that trust and know. I don't like belief. I like knowing. I know it works. I know they take care of me. That's different than having a belief. Saying you have a belief about something is saying that it's not true as well. Just think about that a minute. I believe that the sky is blue, but there's something else. It's like, well, it's not blue all the time. Or, it might not be blue because maybe my eyes are, it's like the belief is strong, not saying it's not strong, but it's also saying there's another possibility. When you say, I know it, there's nothing else. It's just, I know it. This is it. There isn't any other possibility. So I like using knowing instead of believing in how this works. There's a big difference to it. I'm going to take just a breath right here, Bill. Is there something that you want to say or do you want to add to what we've talked about so far?
Now, thank you. There are really two things. You said a few minutes ago, and you talked about everything is all one thing,
Yeah,
everything is all connected to everything else, and
yeah,
therefore the linear way in which we think about things, etc.,
yeah.
may itself be a limitation.
It is a limitation.
Yeah, well, I would like to just relate that I've had a huge experience of basically getting absolutely clear about things that have been unfolding for me for 2 decades. And I have gone through episodes where it seemed like, you're talking about doing doing the healing, releasing the energy, etc. It seems like, boy, I've really handled that this time. I've really learned this, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
As part of what's happened for me, um, and I'm not going to go into any details about anything. Something that happened in 2008 that I understood at the time, okay, meant such and such and such. And therefore, it influenced my life to go, here like this. Suddenly got redefined. It was almost like on a timeline, it got pre projected into 2011. And what got revealed in 2011 is like, oh my God, this 2008 thing is unbelievably pivotal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what has happened recently is like, yeah, the decisions that were made, and I'm going to say by higher beings for me, that got made in 2008 finally revealed themselves in totally cathartic, transformational ways just within the last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean the the whole time sense, okay? It was like they almost knew back
Mhm.
then what it was that was going to happen now in 2025.
Well, I would suggest that they knew the possibilities that it was going to happen,
Yes,
but
okay.
they cannot get involved in your free will, so they don't have the capacity to make it happen. Um, it's a possibility that could happen based upon the choices you were going to make as you walked your walk. And this is why, in a lot of ways, when I was just saying a little bit ago about do not force anything to happen, let things come to you.
Yes,
And
yes, thank you.
if you don't do that and you try and force things, then the situations like you even talked about, the possibilities of it happen probably were still there, but it would have been more difficult for it to for the energy to transfer into those situations as it kind of developed on its own. And one key factor in all that is to allow our hearts to stay open through the whole process. When we close ourselves down and start defining things as we're going, we're not allowing things to come to us. Our minds are trying to make things happen. And that's really hard to do when we're so programmed and trained into believing that you have to decide and you have to make this and you have to do that. And this is what the result will be. And then you get attached to an outcome and all this kind of stuff. It's hard to shift that thinking to the heart because the heart doesn't care. The heart just wants to be open to all things. And it doesn't say that maybe some of those things wouldn't have happened, but the point is that when it happens from the heart, it happens from feeling and experiential. When it happens from the mind, it happens through definition. And that's a totally different experience. In fact, I'd say one isn't even an experience, it's just mind driven. And so it's up to you out there. How do you wish to experience your journey? How do you wish to be in your journey? Do you feel safer if it's linear? Do you feel safer if it's all in your mind? Um, that might be fine, and that might be your journey. And I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm not never going to tell anybody they're doing it the wrong way per se. All I'm suggesting to you and inviting you to see is that if you can uncover these things that are surrounding your heart space and open your heart to a new way of being, it's going to be hard to trust because you're not going to know the result. We're so ingrained to have to know the result. You know, if I'm putting a car together, we do this part first, and we put that part. Then if we do it differently, it's not going to all turn out the same. And so we have to do it in a linear fashion. But when we're talking spirituality and we're talking about shifting ourselves internally, we have to surrender to source. We have to surrender to the beings. We have to surrender to ourselves because we're all part of that and say, wait a second, it hasn't worked up to this point. It just hasn't. You have to look in the mirror and say, has it really worked? Are you really joyous all the time? Are you really happy about serving other people? Or are you really fixated on keeping things? Are you fixated now, especially nowadays? It's like, I've got to hold on to my own money because I don't know what's going to happen. It's not your money, I hate to tell you. It's all borrowed, guys. You can't take it with you when you die. So you can say it's yours all you want, but you ain't going anywhere and you're not dying. Your soul's just going to a different place. You cannot take it with you. You've heard that line. It's true. So while you're here, maybe share a little bit with other people. It's okay. If you become a conduit of abundance, then as much goes out is going to come in. That's how this works. And I don't need to even know how much is coming in. Some people might say, oh, well, if I give that much, then I should get that much back. Or maybe I should get more. It's like you're attached to abundance, you're attached to money. Hard to break that attachment because we're so ingrained on how, you're a success based upon what you have. You're not successful about who you are. You're successful about what you have. Nobody wants to listen to you if you don't have a PhD after your name, for instance. Well, you're a counselor. You should don't haven't you gone to school? Don't you know these things? Yeah, I know them from my heart. I've lived life a long time and I've gone through all kinds of things and I've got all kinds of stuff I can share with you. You don't have to believe any of it. You don't have to do any of it. That's my book. Instead of a PhD, reading all these books and then using the book to say, this is how you should do this and this is how you should do that. That's all thinking. That's all based on definition. And they haven't even done the things they're telling you to do. So how can you trust them that it's really the right answer when they haven't experienced the very thing that they're telling you to do? I'm not saying they're all like that, but that's kind of the way education has worked in the past. Energy transference comes from the heart, not from the mind. The heart uses the mind to assist you in how you're going to promote that in that moment. That's heart-brain coherence is what heart math we call it. It's a coherence between the two. But the heart is the director, not the mind. And so if that's true, if you want to know that, not believe it, if you want to know that, there's work that has to be done to open your heart so you can know that. It's already there, but the work has to be done so you can open up the floodgates of how the heart is going to intuitively help you make choices so you can feel how that feels in your body, it feels in your mental body, your physical body, your emotional body, and thus your spiritual body. Energy transference comes from the heart, but it also comes from the universe. So somebody say, well, that must come from above, right? It must come from outside. Well, there's maybe some truth to that, to way to look at it. But what I would suggest to you, again, from the unification principle, is that if all things unified, it's not coming from outside. It's already a part of me. And I'm drawing more of it out from outside of me because I feel it inside. If I can't feel it inside of me, I don't know what I'm drawing from outside. So we get back to the same thing about doing the work of releasing that cocoon that's around the heart of all the things that you've allowed yourself to define yourself by, the emotions, the triggers, all the stuff that the ego wants you to believe. All that must be left behind. Can you do 100%? No, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen. But the point is, you can do it more than you don't. So if you can get to 51%, where you're allowing your heart to be your intuitive guide, you're on your way. You're going to start feeling better. You're going to start recognizing things more. Life will be more clear to you. You'll be feeling other people's energies and situations. And that allows you to make better choices about what's going on. And sometimes you don't make the right one. And so you step back and you go, wow, I could have been with that differently. That's okay. You release that energy from you. And then when the next time something like that presents itself, you're more on top of it and you can make a different choice. That's how we grow. We grow by the challenges that show up in front of us, so we can use that to help master ourselves. That's how this all works. Energy transference works for healing. Yeshua showed that incredibly in his journey. Others have shown you that throughout the world. Other civilizations have used this for a long time. Metaphysical schools, mystery schools. Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky talked about it in all her writings in the Theosophical Society. She actually gave you a way of working through this. Yeah, her books are pretty dense, I got to tell you, but the information is there. If you don't want to be ignorant, it's there, and you can learn all about the Mahatmas and how your soul came down from this Mahatma and this monad and this and all and so on, and that's all great information. However, what it just basically shows you is what I've been trying to talk to you about, is that you're connected to all things. And they've done it in a way to explain it to you that, in a linear way that maybe help you kind of wrap your head around it a little bit so your heart can be more open. You have other opportunities through shamans and the indigenous cultures. And make sure you're with a shaman that's really coming from the heart, because nowadays a lot of them aren't. They like to control people, so you got to be careful these days. But you can feel that if your heart's open, you'll be able to feel that. And even going to some of the sacred sites around the world, the energies are still there. If your heart is open, You can feel these energies. You can sense them. They haven't gone away. The vortexes are still there. And now, if you, unbelievably, in some of the YouTubes that I've been watching, in some of the archaeology sites that have been dug, they're going way back, and they're finding stuff underneath the pyramids they never knew were there, because now they have the instruments to be able to see what's going on. So we know the pyramids are definitely power grids. They were there to assist energetically, to assist the earth, and to assist those that are coming to the earth. And the pyramids all over the world, they're finding them everywhere, and they're finding some that are 20,000 years old now, way past what the pyramids in Egypt were. So things are starting to become known. And as things are becoming known, you got to start asking yourself. This almost sounds like an ancient alien
Keep going.
PR. You got to ask yourself, it must be aliens. I'm not going to even say that, because I believe our friends are everywhere. I don't believe there isn't. You can call them aliens if you want. I call them our brotherhood. They are our ancestors. They are, in some cases, this is something I'm going to throw out there that I've heard lately that truly, totally makes sense to me, is that the ones that are coming back now or coming back are us in the future, trying to warn us not to make the mistakes that we're going to make. That's powerful. That's really powerful to understand. They're with us, and they want to help us, and they want to make sure that we make the right choice this time. And so there's a lot of truth to that, I believe. But I believe we have brethren everywhere, and I believe they're all there to serve us and to help, for us to serve them in whatever way we can. And as we go into this deeper and deeper and deeper, you're going to start seeing things around the earth that, Antarctica, for instance. Oh my gosh, there's so much there. It's boggles the mind. And so as we continue to search these things out and start understanding that we are way more than we think we are, which means we have more inside of us than we know. We've hidden it from ourselves, and we have the capacities, as Greg Braden would say, to do things that the robots and the AI and all this stuff can't do. They can't. They're good. There are no doubt about it. I mean, you can just see some of the things that are going on these days and how technology has just gone crazy in this last 30 years. But our makeup within our brain, in our heart, is so phenomenal and so past what AI could ever do. And if we give that up and give up our humanness, I think that's what these guys, if you want to call them aliens, are coming back and say, guys, don't do this. We've lost touch with being able to have intimacy. We don't have intimacy. We can't touch. We can't feel. And so I believe that they're warning us that don't give up your humanity. It's one of the precious gifts that we have. Our soul is a precious gift. Don't ever give away your soul, ever. Your heart is a precious gift to you. Your connection on your anakarana cord that you have with the universe and with source is a precious gift. Don't ever give it away. Find yourself, find a way to erase all this while things are going on around you. You can do this while all this turmoil is happening. You don't have to buy into it. You can be separate from the turmoil and work your work and be authentic and love and accept and be present and forgive all you can, because then that energy is transference into the earth. The energy that you walk around with as you change internally, you shift internally. You're placing not only in your heart, but you're placing it on the planet at the same time. That's how this changes, not by going to war, not to try and fight and judge what's going on. That has never worked in the past and isn't going to work anymore. We got to throw that stuff out the window and start accepting each other for who we are, no matter who we are. One of the other things that's coming to light pretty strongly with energy transference is the glyphosate. The glyphosate that is in the earth right now, which Monsanto had created. Now they've been bought up by Bayer, so now they're, what do they call it, like Liberty something, and they call it Liberty something with a chain around it. It's like they're telling you right away there's no liberty in this at all. It's like, it's amazing to me how these guys come up with this stuff. But it is one of the most disastrous things that has happened on this planet for greed, control, and so on. It's in the water, it's in the food. It's, they say it's 97% now on the planet in all the food, in all the biome, but it's not in everything. So that glyphosate is causing autism, it's causing obesity, it's causing all these uh, generic seeds and all that sort of thing that they're creating so that they don't get affected by the glyphosate. It's so funny to me that a lot of people think it's the vaccines, and I understand why. I'm not saying, you know, they're bad people or anything like that, but really, the reason all this is happening is because of the glyphosate, and nobody wants to look at that because there's too many powers that be out there. These guys are making billions and trillions of dollars off this stuff worldwide. And so they don't want to let people know what's really going on. They don't want to let you know it's in your food supply. So eat organically as best you can. I'm not saying it's not in there. It could still be in there depending upon where the organic stuff was farmed. But if you can eat organically, it's better. You won't have the glyphosate. But let me give you a little trick here. And some of you are not going to believe this at all. I've used this many times in some of my workshops, and people laugh at me a little bit. I can hear them smirking. But let me tell you something. This isn't to be arrogant, and this isn't to put yourself above anything else. It's to understand that when you open your heart sufficiently, when you really know your whole body, which means your mental body, your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, your energetic body. When you become one with that, and I'm not saying 100%, all I'm saying is when you become one with that, 51%, you're on your way. When you become one with that, you will start recognizing, realizing, feeling, sensing, knowing the things that are coming into your body, whether it be through your mouth, through your breathing, through being in your skin, wherever you are, whatever's coming in cannot harm you. I don't care what it is. If you do get a cold, you're getting a cold so your immune system can be stronger than it was before. It's not to show you that you're not who you think you are. You will know this. I know that some of the things that have happened to me in these past 5 years were there to serve me, not to put me down, not to put me on the wall and say, see, you thought you could do this and you can't. It has nothing to do with that, because I know that they are there to serve me in some particular way, but in a very strong way. As your heart opens and you feel and sense energies and vibrations and frequencies that are coming in, whether it's through food, through the air, to where you live. There are homes that would be standing up still as a tornado came by and destroyed everything around it. And the person that was in that home sat there and saw and felt for themselves in their own heart their home still standing after the storm went through. And it was. Look them up. It'll blow you away. You say, oh, that's just crazy. That's just a freak. It's not a freak. They knew exactly, knowing they knew inside they could do this, and they did it. There are people that heal themselves of certain injuries. They heal themselves of diseases. And some people, they have that and they try and do that. But when they try, and I'm not going to use try so much, but it's like when they try to do that kind of healing and they see that it's not working, they accept the fact that it's not supposed to, because I'm supposed to experience this in this moment. And they do, but they still get through it. You're the only one that knows in your heart, not your mind. If you use your mind, it's not going to work. That's positive thinking. Never works. If you in your heart know and wish and feel what it is that you wish to have, and feel it as if it's already there, the universe has to answer. It has to. But you have to know it. You have to feel it. And this is where it's difficult for most people because it's more linear for them. It's more mind driven for them. This is one of the gifts that I can give you tonight in this podcast, is that it truly this works. Absolutely, truly works. Absolutely. No question. I've done it with others and it's worked for others. Not because I'm some kind of magic guy. It's because the energies that are coming through me and the energy transference that happens goes to somebody who truly believes, knows, sorry, use the belief word, truly knows that it can take place and feels that it's taking place. That's how this works. So I've had the experiences of it with others. I know it works. There's no doubt for me. People think it's crazy, that you're just weird and you're just different. Doctors can't explain it because they can't. They're very linear, and so they can't come up with an explanation. They say, well, it's just a wild thing that happened, and mark it off as something that happened and move on to most other people because that's not part of the protocol. When energy transference is working through your heart, it works because you're asking for it to work. You're feeling for it to work. You know it's going to work. It works. And so that's how this comes about. It comes about through the truth that you're holding in your heart. And the more work you do to open up that heart, to make these things happen for yourself, you can then use it to project it in other situations per se, and just let it be. You're not looking for attachment to outcome. You say, I'm happy to share the energies that are coming through with whoever wishes for it to be. And sometimes your heart directs you to actually do it. And sometimes it just says, just be present, just be in silence, and pass the energy transference on in those moments as well. And you can do this, it's instantaneous. I guess the next thing, you're getting kind of late here, Bill. The other thing that I can add to this is that it's instantaneous. Consciousness is instantaneous. There isn't this time frame. If somebody that knows that you can assist them to help themselves is in Spain and you're in California, you don't have to wait, 9 hours for it to hit them. They're going to get it right away. It's instantaneous. Consciousness is instantaneous. And so this is something that can be done in an instant moment. And now that we have phones that can take pictures of things in the moment being set instantaneously worldwide, in the moment you're knowing something's going on, and you can send peace to say an area. Don't be attached to that it has to be. Just go ahead and project that transference of energy there to assist, not peace because you're fighting war, but just to allow peace to reign as best it can. Um, and so it's an instantaneous thing too, just so I can drop that in there too at the end here. So Bill.
Yes. I have
What do you
an
got?
issue. Yeah, I have an issue that I hope you can address in some way right now, and it may require another session. I have a colleague, a friend who I'm going to say barely known his entire life, but we went to the same church, but we weren't in the same group because he's 2 years younger than me, and everything was sort of age oriented then. And he wants to leave as his legacy on the planet after he goes, and he means this in the most sincere way. The message of Yeshua, okay, in the form of, I'm going to call it a big billboard,
Hmm.
where one sees his picture
Yeah.
and will hopefully be reminded of what he represents, who he is, etc., and learn from it.
Mhm.
We have gone around and around this issue and what might be the effects. How might people interpret this?
Yeah.
What words might accompany it? Okay,
Mm.
which
Yeah.
would send a message, etc., etc. And I know that you have brought Yeshua into our sessions numerous times. Um, and whether he would like to offer us some perspective now, or it's something we might address uh, in private later or whatever, obviously that's not my decision. But I would like to know how to support this gentleman um, because many of the alternatives that I see happening, the response that are, I'll say, aren't going to work. But that's just me.
Yeah. So I'm reminded of a conversation I had with somebody not too long ago about Yeshua, in that um, when we're really at a dark place, and it doesn't have to be a dark place, but it seems like we almost have to be at a dark place before we're going to reach out. And he already knows that you're in a dark place. Um, Yet there's a choice that must be made, and the choice is to allow him to be with you. How he is with you can be a very intimate situation. Um, I've had one situation for myself that has never left. I come back to it almost daily, um, and it's one that is very intimate to me. And I shared it with this other person not too long ago, and it brought tears to their eyes because they saw the same thing. So, my suggestion here, I'm sure it's coming from him, I can almost feel it, is to allow him to go into his heart, which is where Yeshua resides, as best he can, with no thinking whatsoever, just feeling, just sensation. And envision, after a few breaths, Yeshua standing in front of him and walking up to Yeshua and burying his head and his body into Yeshua's chest, allowing Yeshua to close his arms around him and to deepen the feeling of what that is for him. And then let him, not necessarily put words to it, because words are going to be really hard to find, but let it be a creative situation to see what it is that can best be displayed through him from Yeshua as to how it would look.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just,
Thank you.
yeah.
Well, this has been extraordinary again and deep.
Yeah.
I invite our audience to watch and rewatch this one to really assimilate the depth and the meaning of the message because it's powerful and it's a challenge. It is not routine
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. Not
No.
routine at all.
And it's important too, if I might add, that as you're speaking, is energy transference is forever. It's not, just going to happen once or twice or something like that. As you allow your heart to be open and be able to feel these energies, you're going to understand as you walk your walk that's happening constantly almost to the point where it's just automatic. It's just happening automatically because you become a pure vessel of it as you continue to deepen your heart space, uh, as you're doing your walk. So yeah, like you're saying, it probably is important to listen to this a few times just to kind of um, connect with it and see where you might be in your journey and how this is playing out for you. Um, so yeah, I invite people to watch it a few times. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Audience, we've been blessed here again today.
Hmm.
Join us. I'm sure there will be more. There seems to be what? An unlimited,
Yeah.
infinite supply
And
of wisdom out there that
infinite.
infinite amount of wisdom that Tomei's group and his
Yeah.
team of spirit partners is sharing with us.
Yeah.
Um, it's making an enormous contribution to the Spirit Partners channel.
Mhm.
And I'm just very grateful, very,
Yeah,
very immensely grateful.
I am too. I am too.
Okay, well, we'll see you again soon. Stay tuned, keep looking. New videos, new interviews, new sessions are going to be coming on all the time. And yeah, it's there for your benefit. Share the word, share the news, share the gifts, because they're there for you. Thank you and see you again soon. Bye bye.
See you guys. Bye.